Wonders of your law. Our third reading is taken from the post-synodal apostolic exhortation by Pope Francis, Querida Amazonia, to the beloved Amazon region. Chapter 1, from paragraph 23. Broken institutions. In the encyclical Laudato Si I noted that if everything is related, then the health of the society's institutions has consequences for the environment and the quality of human life. Within each social stratum and between them, institutions develop to regulate human relationships. Anything which weakens those institutions has negative consequences, such as injustice, violence, and loss of freedom. A number of countries have a relatively low level of institutional effectiveness, which results in greater problems for their people. Where do the institutions of civil society in the Amazon region stand? The Synod's Instrumentum Laboris, which synthesizes contributions made by numerous individuals and groups from the Amazon region, speaks of a culture that poisons the state and its institutions, permeating all social strata, including the indigenous communities. We are talking about a true moral scourge. As a result, there is a loss of confidence in institutions and their representatives, which totally discredits politics and social organizations. The Amazonian people are not immune to corruption, and they end up being its principal victims. Nor can we exclude the possibility that members of the Church have been part of networks of corruption, at times to the point of agreeing to keep silent in exchange for economic assistance for ecclesial works. Precisely for this reason, proposals were made at the Synod to insist that special attention be paid to the provenance of donations or other kinds of benefits, as well as to investments made by ecclesiastical institutions or individual Christians. The Amazon region ought to be a place of social dialogue, especially between the various original peoples, for the sake of developing forms of fellowship and joint struggle. The rest of us are called to participate as guests and to seek out with great respect paths of encounter that can enrich the Amazon region. If we wish to dialogue, we should do this in the first place with the poor. They are not just another party to be won over, or merely another individual seated at a table of equals. They are our principal dialogue partners, those from whom we have the most to learn, to whom we need to listen out of a duty of justice, and from whom we must ask permission before presenting our proposals. Their words, their hopes, and their fears should be the most authoritative voice at any table of dialogue on the Amazon region. And the great question is, what is their idea of good living for themselves and for those who will come after them? Dialogue must not only favor the preferential option on behalf of the poor, the marginalized and the excluded, but also respect them as having a leading role to play. Others must be acknowledged and esteemed precisely as others, each with his or her own feelings, choices and ways of living and working. Otherwise, the result would be, once again, a plan drawn up by the few for the few, if not a consensus on paper or a transient peace for a contented minority. Should this be the case, a prophetic voice must be raised, and we as Christians are called to make it heard. This gives rise to the following dream. Here ends our third reading.
Yeah.